T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast, the podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Eric Fiskus and Brady Liming.
Eric Fiskus and Brady Liming.
Hello.
Welcome, episode 113 of the Play It By Ear podcast. Who's with us? Tell us
Make yourself seen. Make yourself heard.
Hello, Savannah.
Savannah.
Allison. Been a while.
From Alabama. We
Alabama.
got our down south listener, and we are happy you are here.
Roll Tide, War Eagle. I don't know. I don't know where you fall on that, Allison. You have to take a side down there, I believe. Gary Troutman, hello.
Gary Troutman's all we want to do. Gary Troutman, he's back in the house. It's been a while, Gary.
Yes. All right. Great to see everybody. Welcome once again, episode 113 of the Play It By Ear podcast. Oh, I bet you're not popular down there. Do you tell people that, Allison?
Them game foul.
Game foul. Yeah. Yeah, we were driving through Alabama once, and we were at a gas station. My wife did something not purposely offensive. Not offensive. That's the wrong word. Rude. Not even rude. That's a strong word too. But like didn't open the door for somebody or something. I said, well, just look at him and say, "Roll Tide." It's okay. Yeah, they'll forgive you.
Unless you're in that Auburn area.
Well, yeah. You're right around Auburn, Alabama, maybe not. But all right. 7 people in the room thus far. If you have not signed in, please do so or linger in the shadows. Your choice. All right. If you've not been with us ever, we are the Play It By Ear podcast. We talk 20-ish minutes on a topic that each of us bring to the table. Do we get rid of the 20-ish minutes at some point, or is that just we just in the canon of the show? I mean,
we needed that kind of governance at the beginning. Yeah. Because we thought that by playing by ear, we also had to play by rules of format. And then we cast that aside like a used Band-Aid and just threw it asunder. So now we do what we want.
Now I'm a self-professed rule follower. I believe you are too as well, Brady. So maybe this is just the aspect of my life where I say to Hades with the rules. We will create a rule and we will purposely break it.
We are rebels.
Yes.
Fornicated. To Hades it goes.
All right. We are on the screen in the order that we will present our topics. Visit our website, www.playitbyearpodcast.com. We will talk about it here shortly in betwixt our topics. Brady. Oh, by the way, before we go on, and you reminded me of this, and I should do that right now. Happy birthday to one of our most loyal and long-standing earbuds. Chuck Griffin.
And the father of one of our founding co-hosts, Todd Griffin. So happy birthday, Chuck Griffin.
Yes.
He's been with us since the beginning.
It's going to be a very lucky year for Chuck. 7 is a lucky number, and he has it twice. So good luck to you, Chuck. This year going to be a good one for you. All right. Now, Brady.
All right.
Proceed, sir.
I shall. I said good day, sir. So, my topic tonight, we're gonna, we've been kind of doing the nostalgia thing and having a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
So, I'm not even sure what exactly made me think of this, but I remember what it was now. See, this Friday, I have to work the PTO's Halloween Carnival at my children's elementary school, and I got to thinking, oh my gosh, the Halloween carnival was the be all end all as a kid.
It was.
But as an adult, but well, I mean, especially as teachers, we've been in a building all day. And it's kind of like, extrovert, but it's still fun. You'll have to visit Sardine Elementary. I'm going to be slinging cotton candy behind the cotton candy machine. So, come out and say hello.
Did you have a fifth of whiskey before we came on here? You seem a little gassy.
No, it's Sprite. I got some Sprite, and I took a big sip of it right before I started my topic, and it gave me the vapors. It got me to hiccuping or hiccoughing. Have you ever seen it spelled like that?
I have.
Boy, that bothers me.
Yeah.
Whoever says a hiccough, it's like I don't even know what that is. But anyway. Okay, but anyway, so I'm going to play this 2 different ways. I'm going to start off with the opposite of what I said. Things that we hated as children, but now that we're an adult, it's not so bad. And then it's going to cut the other way. I'm going to go back to things that we love as kids and hated as an adult.
Okay.
So I'm going to be fair to all of our to all of us. So the first thing on this list, Becky, I promise I've not been imbibing. It's just Sprite. And of course, this very first thing on the list I have to take issue with immediately. But it says that as children, wait a minute, things that we hated as kids, but we don't. As children, it says that we hated pencils. And we don't mind them at all as adults, because when you were a kid, you had to use a pencil in elementary school.
Wrong.
I still hate pencils.
Yes.
The only pencil I will only use the sharpened kind, the yellow Ticonderoga number 2s. I will only use those if I must. It has to be the only utensil around. I don't mind mechanical pencils, but I hate the scratchy sound. That gritty scrape.
I will qualify that. If I had access to a big fat kindergarten pencil, I'd use that.
Oh man. See, I didn't like the like I said, it's just like having like a horse leg that's sharpened and you had to sit it on your shoulder and you had to do the big old letters.
But back then your hands are small. Now my hands are
well,
not
exactly.
Small.
It was like today it would be like us trying to write with a telephone pole. And it just it was. But
see, I would use one today. I would not mind a pencil if I had a big fat kindergarten pencil.
Yeah, but I still don't love pencils. It's mechanical, or I ride or die with the mechanical pencils. I don't enjoy typical pencils.
I would not put up with broken lead. No broken lead. Yes.
I had the joy of seeing Miss Wilson a couple days ago. I was leaving my plate. Yes, and then Katie mentions like, oh, your English teacher's in there. I was like, Miss Wilson's in there, so I had to run into the cafetorium or the auditoria, whichever one it is, and I had to say hello. Which brings me to this next one. Things you hated.
Greetings, earbud. That's what you should have said.
It's like, because we were talking about there were some students around, and they were kind of looking at us quizzically when we were laughing about the kind of stuff we laugh about on here.
Right.
Because I think a couple of them hadn't really seen me cut up and guffaw too much. And, but anyway, I let my guard down because everybody knows I'm a soulless, cold creature, and
Yes, you are.
yeah. So but anyway, the next thing on the list is school that we hated it as kids, but we look fondly upon it now,
Yes.
and I really want to like to parse that a little bit. I enjoyed my high school time, and I look fondly upon, but I enjoyed it then too. But I
Yeah.
did not enjoy early elementary.
No.
If I wasn't made to go, I probably wouldn't have.
Correct.
So I'm trying to think. It was along about fourth grade where I started changing my mind a little bit.
It was better.
Yeah, it
And
was
that
more tolerable.
and that's why I tell people, and I think now being in an elementary school, I try my best to help the kids have a good experience,
Right.
especially
And
in early elementary school, because I did not.
um yes, I had I got to be careful here.
Tread lightly.
Yes, um I was probably an immature 5-year-old, okay?
Yeah.
And I did not enjoy the generational gap that
Yes.
that I experienced with my early school. And now, I look at it, and yes, I know that I'm older, but I see these elementary teachers now, and they're, young and energetic. And it's like we didn't really, you know,
But here's the thing though. My whole course of my life was set by my second grade teacher, who was probably the oldest teacher I ever had.
correct.
She got me interested in history. So I don't
There you
think it's a
go.
case of being young and
No,
spry and
yeah, no, and I
whatever.
didn't mean to imply that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm just saying, like, I think kids today experience a very different primary than we did.
Yes. So now I have to tell a story. I brought up second grade. Uh, as I stated, I had a rough time in early elementary. I think I was like you. I don't know that I was the most mature young child that there was. I made the outstanding decision as a second grader that I was going to stay outside while everyone else went back in. I'll have the playground to myself. I'll just stay out here and play, and it'll be good. Well, I
Consequences be darned.
exactly. There was not a whole lot of forethought in that decision. I stayed out. I completed my mission, stayed back, and then I decided probably within a minute, this is not fun. There's no one out here to play with. Yes, I have an empty playground. Yes, I have swings, but there's no one else out here. So I had to go turn myself in, and consequences were not damned. They were present.
And they were harsh and they were swift.
But even so, as I stated, that teacher set the course of my life. Even though I did stupid things like that, and she showed me mercy and grace. There's my heartwarming story for the night.
There you go. There you go. So we could probably, go once again, we could probably talk hours on this topic alone. But
We could.
so the next one on the list is things we hated as a child, but not so much now, is the opposite sex. Now, think about how unfun it was to have to, like, you have to sit with the girls or you have to be on this team with the girls. Oh man, not
Yeah.
fun. And I know the girls were not happy about being with us
No.
smelly, dirty heathens.
No.
And but oh how quickly that changed.
It did.
It did. And I had that profound moment. Now trust me, I think I started noticing my shift in attitude about sixth grade. And sixth and seventh grade is when I, started questioning the error of my ways previously. But I'll tell you where it really hit home was in college in one of my methods classes, and I'm the only guy in the class, one of my elementary, like, foundations of reading class.
Right.
And literally, okay, I don't wanna okay, I just have to say it, and this is fact, I'm not glorifying this, but basically, most of my classmates were Morehead State cheerleaders and sorority girls. And I'm looking around and like, I chose well. And
The
it's like,
same reason friends of ours chose to be in FHA.
oh, exactly. A
I
legendary man. And boy, I give it up to him. What were
Yeah,
we thinking? We should have
yeah,
followed his lead. Oh,
indeed.
you're gonna do home ec? Oh, dude, I
Yeah,
don't know,
well,
man. Ah.
not not again, no forethought on our part.
In fact, that's one of the few things if I could change, I would get back in a time machine and go back to my freshman year and take that and join that. I often want to know how my life would have been different.
And that's a valid point.
So, it's just one of those things. But it's like girls have cooties and all that kind of stuff.
Miss Wilson, I've always liked school, but was very disappointed after the first day of first grade when they failed to teach me how to read. Yes. Um, not to toot my own trumpet here, but I was reading before I went to school.
I kind of learned to.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah, give you the
Mr.
Judge
Advanced.
Smales. Mm-hmm.
What? So sitting there reading the picture book, but I'm reading the Batman. What? Look at me. But yeah, that was. I'm trying to think of what disappointed me the most about school, and I've thought of this like uh, things that I thought about school.
Yeah.
Um, and actually, it's one of the ones on the list is homework. Now, here's the thing I'm going to say: I didn't like homework when I got older, and I still don't like homework because I still have to do continued education, and there's homework. But I do remember in kindergarten and first grade, I was looking forward to having homework because it made me feel smart, where I could sit in that desk and get out that pen and like I was doing something grown up.
Well, you can be like your older sister. She had homework.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Who was organized and together and smart and mature and everything that I wasn't when I
Right.
was in kindergarten. And well,
Now, Becky says smarty pants. I'm assuming that's to me. Here's the downside to this, Becky. When you think back upon your life and you think my highest level of relative intelligence to my peers was when I was 4, it's not good. I've gotten dumber ever since. So there
oh,
you go. The highlight of my relative intelligence was when I was 4. And
yeah.
over the last 47 years, I've gotten steadily less smart than my peers. So there you
Right.
go.
This next one in the list, and I'm gonna call this one a little. I'm gonna cast a little bit of dispersion on this, but I got to put it in some context. So some things we didn't like as kids when we were younger, but we like now. And it says parents. I never disliked my parents ever, Mom. Loved my parents. Now, was there generational? Of course, tales all this time. But one lie foisted upon me by the 80s movies that I loved is that parents were idiots. In
Yeah.
every single 80s movie, whether it be Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, the parents were always jerks who didn't understand and they were dumb.
Yes.
And even then watching the movies like my parents aren't like that.
Yeah.
And I was lucky, but come to find out, that was a little bit exact. Like it was a little bit played up on the angst factor, I think.
Yeah. Now, I will say this: I did not communicate well with my parents. I I highly respected my parents. Still do, obviously. I mean, I thought very highly of what they were doing for me and what they did and all of
Mhm.
that. Couldn't communicate with them. Of course,
Um,
teenagers I don't think communicate well with anybody other than themselves. But
yeah, members of our own pack. I get it. But do you remember how uncomfortable it was as a kid or a teenager having to converse with an adult that wasn't your parent or somebody you knew? How
Yeah.
terrifying it was.
Very.
Yeah, and awkward. Um, so let's move along. Let's see. I'm going on to the next one. Um, and now we have talked about this ad nauseum, so I'm just going to quickly reference it. Landlines. We hated
Yeah.
it as kids because we felt restricted by the cord and all the gymnastics and yoga that we had to do to get some privacy. But
Right.
I look back on that fondly. Because when you got mad, you could hang up. Although I was rarely that mad. But there was something pure about me snaking that cord halfway down the basement steps to get some privacy, you know.
Right.
And it was
Yeah.
kind of like my confessional booth. That was my space to air things out. Of course, any conversation there would be prefaced with this.
Yeah. Who's looming behind me?
Yeah, yeah. So landline was on this list. Like I said, I don't have nostalgia for it. Like I don't wish I still had one, but I look fondly upon it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, it does. Rodney, welcome. Uh,
Ready?
tell Joshua I said thank you. I enjoyed being his principal, and hard to believe he's in the middle school now.
Wow,
Time just marches
time
on.
flies.
It does.
Um,
Rodney, I remember when you were in middle school. Probably younger than
ah,
that.
yeah, because Rodney is the younger sibling of our friend Gina and
Right.
Annie.
Yeah.
So
We
unbelievable.
graduated with Danny,
Yeah,
his
one
older
of our
sister.
dear friends. And
Yep.
wonder if he ever was party to seeing any of our shenanigans on the side.
Probably was.
Okay, here is one. Sleeping in the daytime. No,
So
mom, I want to play. I don't want
so
to take a nap.
so
Now, as
Gary,
adults, it's like, shut up, leave me
quiet.
alone. I'm taking a nap.
So 15 minutes ago, Gary Troutman said naps when we started this topic. Number one. Now, I will say this: I don't nap a whole lot anymore
I don't
because
either.
I'm not fulfilled by it because
Oh,
I wear a CPAP and I can't sleep with it. If I try to sleep without the CPAP, it's just not good. So
well, and then there's what the media portrays as partaking too much of adult beverage. That's how I feel after a nap.
yeah,
It could be a half an hour power, what they call a power nap. But if I had to partake of a nap anymore, I wake up and I'm like, and just not, it's
yeah,
not I don't wake feeling refreshed. I kind of feel worse than, because there's that guilt that you have to do something and you want to sleep more. And if you do, you won't be sleeping that night.
correct,
Yeah. So adult problems, adult problems.
right.
All right. Old songs. God, mom, turn the channel. I don't want to hear no Beatles. I don't want to hear no Beach Boys. Although, no, I always love me some Beach Boys.
I was gonna say you
But
were always partial to the Beach Boys.
I was very
Me on
partial
the
to
other
the Beach
hand,
Boys,
no.
and I love me some Beach Boys. But okay, there for a while in the new wave '80s, I really disliked the Beatles because they were everything that I was against.
Yeah,
It was old. It was kind of hippie. It
yeah,
was just not my scene at the time. It's like, well, no, that's been done. This is new. Give me that. And of course, I see the folly of my ways. That's just part of being young and stupid. But it didn't take me long, to, I have to credit one of my cousins who was criticizing my music taste. So for Christmas, he got me the White Album on cassette, the white
yeah.
cassette.
Yeah.
And I wore that thing out, man.
So here's a question on that note.
Yes. Hello,
And
Maxwell.
yes, hello Maxwell. Now you're a little different than I am when it comes to music. At what point in time did you start to hate new music?
I still don't. I just hate some new music.
See,
I've said this before, like, there was the music of my youth that everybody, but I still think one of my favorite music eras for me is about 2000 to 2005 because there was a lot of new bands that came out that I just love. I love them. The Shins, Rooney, the Thrills. There was some absurd like Shiny Toy Guns, and there were some good bands that came out. Some new bands. Oh, Dashboard Confessional, OAR, that I really liked,
yeah,
and so I like that early 2000s, but you know, I'm trying to think now. The music that I didn't like as a kid, we would call it yacht rock now. We would
right.
call it 70s, because I used to, oh, you remember, Eric, you remember how we would gripe when that Freedom Rock commercial would come out? Turn it up,
Turn
dude.
up, dude.
No, we're going to turn it off. This is lame. This is 60s,
Yes,
70s. Get that out of here,
yes,
you polyester wearing frauds. And disco. Oh, set our teeth on edge.
correct.
But, then we changed our minds.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to change your mind.
So, Miss Wilson, the best thing about retirement is sleeping in. Now, sleeping in's a different question there. That's a different thing. Naps are one thing. Sleeping in, absolutely sleep in. Yes, of course. Brady has never, ever been able to sleep in. Yes,
It's a curse.
that would be a
Uh,
curse.
the only time in my life where I could sleep in, here we go again, is when I had mono in college and I
Ugh.
had my enlarged spleen for a while.
Don't say
And
it.
I mean, there was a period of a few weeks where I would go to bed at 9 o'clock and I would sleep till 11 o'clock. But that
Yeah.
was like, you know, not exactly, that was a time, you know, but
Extenuating
yeah,
circumstances.
extenuating circumstances.
Danny, yes, welcome, and always time for some sticks.
Oh yeah,
And Becky, musicians in quotes. Yes, correct.
yeah, yeah.
Who plays their own instruments anymore?
They're
What
out
what it
there.
what is not auto tuned?
I'll tell you, even though bluegrass and newgrass isn't totally my thing, that guy, Billy Strings. I'm going to call him a kind of a combination of bluegrass and the Grateful Dead a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some jam bands out there that they're still doing it. They're out there. They just don't get recognized much.
right.
So, um, here is one: hygiene. As a kid, bathing not fun. Washing
No.
your face, terrible waste of time. Lord knows if
What?
there was ever a moistened cloth that would touch our anus as kids, you know, we just, hygiene as a kid.
You
No.
know the worst when your mom washed your face. That was awful.
Oh, they might as well. No, they might as well have just got a sanding saw. Okay, just got it from the aisle of Home
One of
Depot.
those wire brushes like
Oh, like a Brillo pad. Here,
yeah.
let me get that. And all you see is flesh and blood flying as your
Yes.
skin was being flayed by whatever they were using.
Yes.
Oh, I nicked you a little bit. Here, let's get some Bactine or some of that red stuff.
Yeah, right.
It's not going to sting. Lies.
Lies, damned
Mm.
lies. See,
Oh,
now kids, they don't have that stuff anymore, do they? They don't put that
the
stuff on
stuff that
kids
turns your
anymore.
skin red, which actually looks worse than the wound itself.
Well, it wasn't
Why
even
they do
red.
that to
It was
kids?
like fluorescent orange, and it would sting.
Yeah. Well, it was like it looked like if cow's blood and iodine were mixed together. And the thing is, why would they do that? Because then you look down at your wound and it's all stained red, and there in your mind, you're not exactly sure what's leaking from you and what's like put on there to keep it from getting typhus. So I don't
Yes.
know. Uh, so let's go on after hygiene. Silence.
Mm.
Think about that one. Nothing was worse as a kid than silence. You'd have to start
And
banging on something,
exactly. And
watching the TV.
as a kid, you were had a war on silence. There would be
Oh
no
my
silence.
gosh. Perish the thought of silence. You would do everything in your power to fill the silence. Everything from going to making arm fart sounds. There could not be any silence. There had to be something. Because I think as a
Yes,
kid, silence equaled being alone.
correct. Yes, Kenny, mercurochrome. That's it.
Ah,
Awful stuff. They should bring that back just so we can show kids what they're missing out on.
yep. Now, this one, I'm going to disagree with a little bit, just a smidge, because I appreciated this for a while, but staying alone and doing nothing. Now, as a kid, there were times I just enjoyed my own company with my Star Wars figures or whatever, and then I could do what I want. Or I could just ride my bike around up and down the driveway and imagine what I was imagining, like, you know, 8-year-old Sons of Anarchy Sardinia chapter or whatever. And
But that's doing something though, isn't it? I mean, does it mean sitting
yeah,
there on the couch and just nothing,
vegging
just
with
sitting
drool.
there?
Okay, let's see what they say because this could be interpreted different ways. Sitting idle was never an option. We always had to be doing something. These days, a quiet day at home away from work is all we want. So I think it's at a I need to be playing wiffle ball, or I need to be riding my bike, or I need to be with my friends. It's just like I'm just gonna chill, do nothing, and read my comic books. I'm gonna play with my Star Wars figures by myself, and that was just last week. But but so you get the idea. We just didn't
Yeah.
like being alone too much.
I
Um,
would I would say in general, just having the house to yourself. It's like,
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I find that I watch things that I wouldn't watch with my children around. It doesn't have to be necessarily, adult humor, but I find it's usually when I'm by myself where I watch some wrestling reruns or something.
yeah.
It's just something time killer.
Mhm.
This one's funny. I know I'm kind of getting up against the clock a little bit, but their way of stating it makes me laugh. Innocent intimacy, meaning this is a very sensitive issue when aunts or cousins, they would want to hug you, kiss you, cheek pulling, innocent in it. Oh. And what is funny is it doesn't fall far from the tree. I used to hate being hugged, or if somebody would want to kiss me goodbye, I would put my head down. You can kiss the top of my head, but don't get in my massage. And my child does the same thing. Mom's
There
like,
you
well,
go.
that looks familiar.
Hmm. So it's in
So,
the DNA then.
yeah, it's like when Aunt Edna comes, like, give me a kiss. And you're like, you know, you hated that as a kid. Hated it.
Yep. Yep.
Um, let's see. Being mistaken for being younger. Oh, are you first?
Correct.
You were first grade. I'm in third grade, darn it. And
Yes.
you get real
Right.
defensive. And now,
Yes.
last week when I got carded going into an R movie, I was like, heck yeah, this is
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
I don't think I ever got. Nah, I mean, when I was a kid, I never was said to be younger than I was. I don't think.
I just, I remember, I remember it bothering me a little bit my senior year, my freshman year of college, because I still looked like a kid, and a lot of the other freshmen college looked like, men, and I still looked like a kid, you know,
Right.
and it was the men that was hanging out with the women. They didn't want to hang out with the kid, you know.
Yeah.
So,
So here we go.
uh oh.
I like how they always explain that horrible sting as stuff killing those germs. Die, germs, die. Of course, your skin knee battleground was going to hurt. Here, let me blow on it to increase its effectiveness and henceforth increase the pain as it was blown upon.
As the wind is moving the flayed flesh and the exposed nerve endings.
Right.
Oh, man. Yeah, that very well stated, Miss Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm coming up on the end of my list. Let's see. Oh, how did I end up there? Why am I on India TV news? All right, there we go. Breakfast. Now, I am totally down with this. I did not like to eat breakfast. Breakfast upset my stomach as a youth. I did not like to eat, like, some kids, they want that sausage, bacon, pancakes, back that cow up and put it on a syrupy something or another. But, like, I never ate a heavy breakfast, much to the dismay of my mother. I could eat a Swiss cake roll, maybe a half one, or a cinnamon roll. Or what would really drive her crazy, I would eat like vegetable soup or chili for breakfast.
Really?
But yeah, just occasionally if I was hungry. But I always felt that if I ate heavy, it ruined me for the rest of the day. It made me tired and sluggish.
You were roint.
Roinked. Now I'm probably, especially before my gallbladder came out, eating too much breakfast would mean an unpleasant trip. And that could ruin a day. Oh, you ate the cheese, the cream cheese French toast at IHOP? Well, in 1/2 an hour, you're not going to be doing what you want to be doing. I'll tell you. So that was never fun.
I never was much for breakfast at all, and maybe it's just because I never was one. Didn't even care much for breakfast food when I was young.
Yeah.
Now I love omelets and things like that.
Yeah. Well, and Eric, you were a late sleeper, so I'm going to come at you with this. It was probably association, because if you were up early to eat breakfast, you didn't want to be up.
Indeed.
So you associated the being up with the food.
That's a fact.
Could that be a theory?
That's a good theory.
So that just popped into my head. Here's one that I still might be a little bit guilty of. If it was black and white, channel got changed with a couple exceptions. Some I Love Lucy, or the Munsters or Addams Family. If it was black and white, there it goes. Not going to watch it. You suffered through the first few minutes of Wizard of Oz to get to the good stuff.
Right.
But, I mean, it could be a great movie. It could have been Star Wars, but if it was black and white, I'm changing the channel.
Yeah. I totally agree.
And you know what it was? I don't think it had anything to do with the actual color or non-color. I think it was like, it's old. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah. Now, there was I Dream of Jeannie, whose early episodes were black and white, then turned color.
Wasn't there black and white Gilligan?
Yes, there was.
Yeah, I never watched those episodes. I've seen every Gilligan's Island episode multiple times except those black and white ones because I would shut it off. Nothing would whiz me off more is you would come home from school, setting in to watch some Gilligan and the darn black and white episodes. Turn it. See, you can't do that anymore either. You can't go and change the channel. You have to go.
See, now the theme song even sounded different on the black and white episodes of Gilligan's Island. There was no redeeming factor to anything in that. Yeah, because the original was sung by the what was the name of that group? The Wellingtons.
Oh.
Yeah. The first season, the black and white episodes, the theme was sung by the Wellingtons. Then it was redone for the the color versions, the color episodes.
So nothing was saying and the rest.
And the red, yes, I did. That's what happened. The whole thing happened right there because the professor and Marianne said, "Listen, you put us in the song, or we're walking, and make this show a colored TV show." It all
Yeah.
happened there.
Well,
Professor Marion got added. Showtime to
because
color
then we go,
TV.
we're Gilligan, the skipper to the millionaire
Millionaire
and his
and his
wife,
wife.
the
The
movie
movie
star,
star.
and the
And the
rest. Well,
rest.
like, if I was a professor, I'd be taking my radio and my coconut telegraph and my nuclear reactor he made from a palm tree leaf and a conch shell, and I'd be leaving. Out.
OWT out.
um, well, that went down a rabbit hole.
Yes, it did.
So that kind of brings me to the end of my list. Oh, okay. I had to back up a little bit. What just crossed my mind? I said I love. Oh. When I got a little bit older, the poop stopped with my sister and I when Perry Mason reruns came on.
That was black and white.
Yeah, we liked that. We liked that. That was a straight. To this day, I shouldn't have. But we love some Perry Mason.
See, okay, Perry Mason, Raymond Burr. What about Ironside, Raymond Burr?
I never watched an episode, not a single one.
The theme song was scary.
Not as scary as a murder.
And then it showed him getting shot. It showed him getting shot. He ended up in a wheelchair. That's scary. And the music? No.
Yeah.
Didn't want any part
I'll
of that.
tell you, nothing was scarier than the opening to Emergency. It was just a tone that made you uneasy. I don't think I ever sat down and watched it.
You never watched Emergency?
Well, no, because I never could get past the theme song. It made me uncomfortable.
I loved Emergency. I still love Emergency. Still watch it.
There's okay. I loved the $6 Billion Man, but I would get a little bit. Steve Austin, a man barely alive. And then they show the the spaceship crashing and everything.
We'll rebuild him. Bigger, stronger, faster.
But I don't know why we sound like the conductor to heaven from Tom and Jerry. Hurry, Thomas, hurry. You know exactly what I'm talking about too.
Whoa, yeah, one of the great Tom and Jerry's ever.
Oh,
that's got to be in the
Thomas?
top 5.
Well,
hello, Treva.
Hello, Treva. And for the sake of brevity, I think I'm going to cut this off because I'll do the flip side of the coin next week. Things that we loved as children but hate as adults. If our listening audience would think they would be amused by that. Because I was going to put it in one topic, but I know this is hard to imagine, but we talked more than we thought.
There's too much gold there.
There's gold.
Save some of that gold for next week.
Pure goat.
Tread lightly. Visit our website, www.playitbyearpodcast.com. Therein you can find some of the history behind our shows, some of these strange terms that we use in our Urban Dictionary-esque glossary of terms.
Like a word that I used earlier, ANUs.
ANUs, yes. Roint. Is roint in the...
Roint.
Yeah.
I did catch myself. The Brown County Fair was about a month ago. It was about 3 weeks ago. And I told my daughter, Reagan, it's like, hey, because I had COVID and I couldn't go. It's like, hey, I'm going to give you some money. Will you bring me back a tenderloin? I just slipped and said it. She's like, what? A pork tenderloin. A pork tenderloin. I've been calling it a tenderloin for years.
All right. Yeah. Visit our website. If you want a t-shirt, you can order those there as well.
And ding, ding. I want to give a formal thank you to Sue and Kenny Enlow, who ordered t-shirts this week. And I am getting those t-shirts this week, and they shall be delivered to you soon via your granddaughter, who happens to be my science class. So we've already got this arranged. So I'm going to slip her the merchandise here, and you will be enjoying your new Play It By Ear t-shirts that were like they've been shaven from the alpacas that are in heaven. It is so
Very,
soft.
very soft and smooth. Yes.
Bro.
You can get one of your very own. Just click on the store link in the menu at the top of each page. That will take you to a picture of the t-shirt. Click on the t-shirt picture, and that will take you to buymeacoffee.com, which is our crowdsourcing platform where we sell said t-shirts, and that's where you can get yours. We'll make sure you get yours personally delivered, maybe by your granddaughter, maybe by
You do
somebody
not
else.
have to be in my science class to have it delivered to you.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Yeah. Ask your granddaughter.
So, have you made any of them write chapters out of the book yet?
I have not. I did tell them that story though. I said a bunch of my friends have asked me if I made you guys write textbook chapters yet.
Yes, you have a legacy to live up to, Mr. Lyman.
Yes.
All right. So now on to my topic. It has been a while, but we will bring back we will bring back the ever popular AITA. So this is a best of AITA. Am I the NUs?
Am I the NUs?
All right. So if you're not familiar with the site Reddit, Reddit is a kind of a what we used to call a bulletin board back in the early days of the internets. And you go on there and you post things and people comment on them. And so there's one subreddit, and that's what the different topics are called. It's called AITA. Am I the blank hole or NUs or however you want to put that?
The asshole. Hey,
Asshole.
Eric.
Yeah.
Daggone it. If I would have known this was coming, I still have props. I still have Buttle the cat from our 100th episode, our mascot.
Yes.
For that, I could probably run and get it real fast, but then but
it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good. All right. So we'll go through each of these, and we can opine on whether the Redditor, that's what these people are called that put these posts on Reddit, the Redditor is an ANUs or not an ANUs. All right. Here we go.
You're chuckling already. This better be good.
I'm chuckling already. So I, a 21-year-old male, live with my childhood best friend, 22-year-old, also male, and have done so for 2 years now. Up until last week, things were perfect between us. However, he recently got a new girlfriend, 23-year-old female, of course. And she honestly seems absolutely great, except for one thing. She seemingly has a complete aversion to knocking. She and I have quite a lot in common. I actually like spending time with her. However, it bugs me when she just barges into a room without knocking first. Now she's never walked in on me doing anything untoward. I love that word, untoward. I'm just usually chilling on my bed or studying at my desk. However, on at least 7 separate occasions now, she's done it first thing in the morning to ask if I want coffee. I sleep naked. Every time prior to the last one, I've been under the covers and she hasn't seen anything. I always point out that she could have knocked, and she just giggles and says, but I didn't. When she stayed over last week, in order to make my point, I intentionally slept on top of the covers.
Oh, God.
Sure enough, she barges in at 7 a.m., begins to ask if I want coffee, and sees my you-know-what. That's how it's said. She immediately backed out of the room and didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. My mate later pulled me aside and said I was out of order, accused me of deliberately exposing myself, and pointed out that I had threatened to do it before I did, because he said, what if I had no covers and you saw everything? He said that to her before. They're now framing this to others that I'm some sick creep who intentionally got naked and lay in wait, because that's how I get my rocks off. And I'm kind of seeing how it came off that way. AITA for doing this.
Wow.
Hello, Howard.
There's a
Would you
lot to
like
unpack here. Howard.
Don't say package.
I okay. Gosh darn it, because this is gonna sound like a what do you call it? A political answer. I think they're both in the wrong to a degree.
Okay.
He did say it was unreasonable, and before you said that she backed out appalled, it's like she's totally trying to see it. I was kind of under the impression it's like, oh no, this is not. She's trying to get with a friend,
Right.
but it just seems like she was kind of unaware of some boundaries. So therefore, does it say the person's name?
It does not.
Well, we'll just call this person Kevin Bacon. So when she
Bacon.
looked upon Kevin's bacon, I him intentionally doing it, knowing he would get caught. There is a thread that runs through there. He kind of wanted. Now, well, here's what we got to parse. Did he want her to see it, or did he want her to see the scenario that, hey, this is what could happen? I think that's the big question. And I have not got the answer from what I'm reading. There's an ambiguity there, which when I first my first blush is he's not the Anus, but then I'm kind of like
Oh. Becky says not the A, and
Not
says
the
just
A.
knock. John,
Just
welcome, John.
knock.
If she would have knocked, she would have not seen anything. WOOD. Now we're making assumptions at 7 a.m., John.
But the thing is, I mean, nobody's having a ball in this case. And there was hurt feelings all around. But no, I'm kind of saying they're both in the wrong. I think he would have been okay if now she would have been clearly the Anus if he had not planned it. If he had just kicked off his covers because he got hot,
Yeah,
and he was splaying, she
Okay,
still would be the Anus.
Okay, so here's a wrinkle. Now you don't get this wrinkle here until you go down the comments. So Miss Wilson says she was in the wrong, but he could have just locked his door. The lease on the apartment disallowed door locks, so he did not have a lock on his door.
Okay, interesting.
Howard says not the a-hole, but certainly the perineum.
Well played, sir.
Yes, well played.
You taint either one. All right.
No, he tisn't. I say not the Anus.
Yeah, I'm leaning there, but I don't think he was a creep. I think he was kind of trying to make a point, but in this day and age, that's a point that you can't make. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
So there you go. All right. Our audience is the best. Some of the ways they played that off.
Yes.
Right, now I've got to lost the page there for a moment. I needed.
Oh, accidental delete.
No, I got it.
All right.
It's all good. All right. Next one. Did we get votes from every? Okay. Now Miss Wilson's back. You could have used a doorstop. Then this is true, and that's what a lot of the people on the comments said. Just buy a doorstop off of
But
Amazon.
you know darn well though she would have got a little bit salty. Well, why are you using a doorstop? I'm just wanting to make you coffee. I can hear this being said.
Correct.
So I don't know.
All right, here we go. Did we get votes from everybody that wanted to vote?
I think that it was definitely nobody has said that he was an ANUs. Everybody kind of leaned the other way. It's pretty unanimous.
Yeah. Howard did say perineum, but not the ANUs. All right. AITA for giving all my coworkers a different reason for why I have missing fingers.
What?
All right. I have 3 fingers missing on my dominant hand. It's fine. I can type and everything, even manage to tie my shoelaces most days. And on the days I can't, that's the dyspraxia. However, I won't deny it looks a bit odd to most people. I only have my 4th and 5th fingers, so my hand looks a bit like a child's drawing of a rabbit and not a That's a visual.
That is.
All right. I'm used to people asking about it, usually after staring for a good minute or two, but I still find it annoying. I really don't get why you'd think it'd be an okay thing to do to ask someone about it, but hey, I wasn't raised in a barn. Usually I nip the questioning in the bud by just explaining the truth from the get-go and assuming that enough people will gossip about it that the message will spread by the end of the day. It always does. Anyway, I started a new job about a month ago, and I honestly could not face going through the same cycle again. I felt like the time had come to not play into it anymore and to make something out of it. And I decided to make myself laugh. When the first new coworker asked about it, I completely lied and told her that I chewed them off as a baby. I then decided to tell the next person who asked that I cut them off with a plastic knife at a picnic. And the next person that I was born with 6 fingers and they removed too many, and so on.
That would be fun, coming up with all the stories.
All genuinely ridiculous reasons, but I'm a good actor and they actually believed my stupid lies. And I didn't expect them to. A plastic knife through bone. Seriously? But there you go. Maybe they just thought there's no way I'd lie about how I lost my fingers. Within about 3 days, I learned that my coworkers have been arguing about the actual reason. It seems like a lot of them now actively dislike me for lying to them. I'm probably going to have to make some cupcakes over the weekend with my super cool 3D printed adaptive whisk to get back into their good books. Anyway, I told this story to my brother today, and he told me that I was an asshole because I caused tension within the office on my first day and made people feel stupid for being gullible and believing my lies. My argument is I'm not the asshole because they were asking a rude, albeit common question, and because I didn't do it with the intention of deceiving them. I was just honestly fed up with the question and didn't think they'd think I'd actually severed 3 fingers with dental floss when I was 3. I'll accept my judgment, though. Update. Gonna check out here, I think. Getting real tired of explaining why it's not cool to ask people why they lost limbs or digits because you want to sate your morbid curiosity. A few reminders for people. I am not a male. Don't know why everyone assumed that. Don't ask people. I did too. Don't ask people about something that could be traumatic, especially when you actually don't know them. And when making cupcakes, always cream the butter. There you go.
Well, there is one bright side to this.
Yes.
She couldn't flip him off. Yeah. But I'm going to say not the ANUs. I did something like this once. I'm not being funny. So I was in Mexico on vacation, and I had my gallbladder removed about 4 weeks before, maybe 5.
Yeah.
but I still had. Well, no. It's longer than that. It was probably about 2 months. But point being, I still had a large scar that was healing, and it looked like a bullet wound. It really did. So I'm in the pool, getting me a beverage, and I'd start chatting with these dudes. This couple from Texas, and so he had had a couple adult beverages, and he said, "Now I can't let you get out of here without knowing how you got that bullet wound." And I said, "Well, I'm a teacher." And so this maniac escaped from the prison and was like, so I shielded the kids, and and I just like stopped in front of it, and I saved a couple, kids and some grandparents and everything. He's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, No, I had gallbladder surgery."
Did
And
he
he
get mad at
chuckled.
you?
No, he chuckled.
Yeah.
He thought it was kind of funny. So I'm not saying they were in use. I think it's kind of creative and funny.
I agree.
So,
Okay.
but I'll tell you who I dislike the most out of this whole story is the sibling.
Yeah, the sibling was rather judgmental.
Not only judgmental, that's your sister. You
Yeah.
back her up, especially the person never does say how they actually lost the fingers, did they?
No, they do not.
That's interesting. It must have been bad.
Yeah.
I mean, because if I was telling this story, the first thing I would say, here's the story of how I lost them. And here's what I said.
Right.
So that makes me wonder if they were like this person, MAFO, messed around and found out like they were doing something really, you
Uh-huh.
know,
Right.
oh,
Okay, so before we get into the votes on this one, Miss Wilson, still on the previous one, you mentioned if she could get salty about him blocking the door and say, "Well, I just want to make you coffee." And she said if she got salty about it, then it would have shown that she was trying to get a gander at his gender.
gender reveal.
There you go. All right, so votes on this one. Howard says, absolutely not the a-hole. Props for creativity and for the devilish digital deletion dialogues that ensued. Nice alliteration.
That's a lovely alliterative
Yes.
phrase there.
All right, Allison, not an a-hole. I started coming up with different stories about how I got the scar on my forehead. I'd even mess with people and act like it really hurt my feelings that they even asked. Becky says, not the a-hole. Take a joke, people.
So it's
And
anonymous.
Allison says the real story was that her brother hit her in the head with a lead pipe when she was 5 years old.
Gosh, was he Colonel Mustard?
Cracked my skull. Totally by accident, but it was traumatic for me until I was a teenager and grew out of being upset by it.
And Allison, by the way, I was a big insensitive. I really wanted to make a clue joke, and Colonel Mustard with the lead pipe was the best I could do quickly. So,
well, Miss Wilson, adults should know better than to ask about and do a lot of things. But,
this reminds me of now. This was kind of jerkish. Some friends of ours in high school, they worked at a McDonald's. It was one of their first few adult jobs, and they were hazing the new girl employee. And they asked the girls, just like they were talking about sports. Like, oh, you need to go ask so and so how many push-ups his sister could do. So she did, and she went, "Hey, how many push-ups can your sister do?" And he went, "She doesn't have any arms." And the girl started like dying, crying, like, got real upset. And that was kind of mean because that was staging it, but I could giggle
all right,
about it.
So this, I forgot to say that this little article I have here kind of sums up all the Redditors' comments and what the last decision by the Reddit universe was. So with the first one we had, it said, guy gets sick of his roommate's girlfriend barging into his room without knocking. Sometimes when he was still in bed, naked under the covers, even after he asked her not to. So one morning he lays on top of his covers naked. She walks in on him. Now the roommate and the girlfriend both think the Redditor is a creep. consensus is that he is the good guy here and that he needs to get a doorstop.
Yes.
Seems to be a bit late for that. So on this one, read enough of these and you'll find out where you disagree with the majority opinion. So the Redditor's sick of people asking about why her 3 fingers are missing. When each of the Redditor's new coworkers asked, she came up with a different answer. Coworkers believed her, argued amongst themselves over the real reason, got mad at her for lying to them. Commenters mostly agreed that there's no annus in here and this is all silly, which is ridiculous. It's rude to ask a new coworker about a physical condition. It's ludicrous to ice them out because they'd rather not tell you. But the Reddit universe said no one was an annus. Not the people asking and not her for telling stories about it.
Now, I'll go along with on the first day, no. If I've worked with a person for years, I might finally get the courage up at the Christmas party after an eggnog to like, hey, are you ever going to tell me, how you lost those fingers?
Right.
So,
all right, next one. AITA for telling cashier that wasn't the girl's credit card. All right. Throwaway because husband told me I was the annus and want to know before I get home and argue. On phone, format is bad. I was in higher end department store, rhymes with looming tales. and happened to end up next to 2 teenage girls while shopping. One of the girls had picked out a pair of very expensive boots, and they were both fawning over them. Second girl must have looked at the price tag and asked Boots girl if she's really going to spend that much on boots. Girl with boots says something along the lines of, "It's fine, I have my dad's credit card, I'm not paying," which instantly caught my attention because that's not her card. I've told my son multiple times he's never allowed to use my card, so I'm interested to see how this girl thinks she's going to get away with fraud, but had split up from the girls at this point because they found something else. We end up at the same register with her behind the girls, and I see her total hit well over 4 digits. The girl's about to swipe her card when I decide I can't let her get away with something like this, and someone has to parent this kid if no one else will. I tell the cashier that isn't her card, but her father's, and I'm not sure she has permission. Girl and friend turn and glare at me, giving me possibly the dirtiest look I've ever seen. I swear this girl was going to throw a tantrum right there. I don't think she has ever been told no. Girl tells cashier her father gave her the card to shop with because it's the store's credit card and gives him the points. Now, I've pointed out that it wasn't hers. Cashier tells her she can't use that card. Girl tries to show ID to prove they have the same last name, and I tell her it's still fraud. Girl says it's not fraud because she has permission and tells me to mind my own business. I tell her that it is my business, that she's doing something illegal. She needs to pay with her own card or I call the cops. Girl is pissed now, and people are glaring at me. She uses her own card and leaves crying. Cashier looks mad at me, and I tell my husband when I get home, only for him to agree I was in the wrong. Is she the annus?
Kinda. Because she has no idea the circumstances. They could have been multimillionaires, and that could have been the arrangement. And she's not in on that.
Could have been.
So now I applaud her high ideals.
Yeah.
But she just doesn't know the story.
Right.
So my question is, how old was this girl? She said teenager, but teenagers don't get looming tales cards. So,
but it was her dad's card, though.
But then she said she paid with her own card.
True.
That's what I'm saying. They don't give those to 16-year-olds. So she was probably older.
But dad or mom could have had a card and put her name on a card. They can do that. It could have been their account, but she has a card with her name on it.
Yeah. I'm going to say, yep. Rub a little bit of preparation on H on her. She's going to shrink. So,
So you're saying she's a hemorrhoid too?
yeah. I just don't like anything about this. She's making too many assumptions.
Assumptions.
You know what they say about assume.
Right. All right. Howard speaks from a place of experience. As a former fraud investigator and bill collector, it is not fraud unless her parent reports it's stolen. Therefore, she is the a-hole.
Yep.
Becky, you are the a-hole, not your business lady. It's dad's problem. I tend to agree with that.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah, I think you stated it perfectly. She has high ideals. She's trying to do what she thinks is a good thing, but no, not your business. Miss Wilson agrees. Woman is an ANU's, none of her business how others parent.
Like, it comes down to this, and I'm painting with a broad brush. If dad gave her his Looming Tales card, they're wealthy.
Yes.
It's going to be okay.
Yes.
As a Cincinnatian, like, Looming Tales is more in New York, Chicago, Houston kind of thing,
Right.
Dallas. I've heard of it, but of course I've never shopped there. So I kind of think it's probably like Nordstrom's on steroids.
Yes.
So,
all right. So just reading here the conglomeration of Reddit comments. The moderators had to tell people to stop insulting this Redditor, even though she is clearly the ANUs.
oh,
It's an important rule of this subreddit. Don't be an ANUs, even to an ANUs. This Redditor overheard a teen girl saying she was going to buy an expensive pair of boots on her dad's credit card. She decided this means the teen is a spoiled brat, so she followed the girl to the register, told the cashier not her card. Yada, yada, yada. So Redditor, Reddit universe says, yeah, she's an ANUs. Treva agrees. Mind your own. Mind your own, ANUs, a-hole. All right. Last one.
oh my.
All right. So this is AITA for calling my coworker Chunky after she repeatedly calls me slim and makes references to my weight after I asked her multiple times not to. I have a female coworker who repeatedly calls me out regarding my weight. I'm female, 5'9", 115 pounds, very thin. She is very overweight all the time. She makes comments about my weight. She doesn't call me by name. She calls me slim, and I even heard her say one time, "Go ask Toothpick." And she has said stuff like, "You need some meat on your bones and you need to eat." I've only worked there 8 days. I've asked her very nicely to stop. Yesterday, I asked her to stop calling me slim again, and she basically said it's her mouth and she can say what she wants.
Well, I think you could stop this thread right now after that statement.
Oh, but I must read on. Today, when she said, "Morning, Slim," I replied, "Morning, Chunky." And she got upset and actually started crying. Everyone here at work, only 6 of us total, is saying I'm wrong and I should apologize because being called fat is different than being called skinny, because being called skinny is a compliment. I said, as long as she calls me slim, I will call her chunky, and now I'm the bad person. AITA, if I don't apologize. The owner/manager has completely ignored the situation, saying it's a high school issue and we should figure it out. All right. So here's more information. Edit for more info. We don't have human resources. There's only 6 of us working here at a cupcake shop.
Oh, God.
We are all regular employees. I went to the owner before I called her Chunky and asked him to talk to her because I felt she was harassing me. That's when he said we can handle it ourselves. That's why I called her Chunky. I told her to stop calling me Slim, and I didn't like it, and she continued to do it. She didn't stop doing it after I asked multiple times, and I didn't know what to do besides what she was doing to me. She brought up my weight. I brought up hers.
All right. All right. So I can ignore the whole rest of the story, but I can't get over it's my mouth and I can say what I want. Nothing chaps my buttocks than these people who just like they have a get out of jail free card. Well, I'm just being real.
Right.
Oh, nothing is about driven me more to assault than somebody when they say that. I'm just being real. What a real jerk, you know. And that being real is just something that comes from the Oprah ilk. We're just being real. Get that out of here. Politeness and empathy is not a fashion. It needs to be around all the time. And
Correct.
my whole thing is if somebody asks me to stop at my workplace, it's not an unreasonable request. I'll tell you what an unreasonable request is. Can you please not breathe my air when I'm in the room? That's stupid.
Yeah.
That is going to make me go, do something ridiculous. But she just said, hey, I don't like that. Please stop. And she, I don't care what she's calling her.
Yes.
So it comes down to the fact now, if she got this bent out of shape from one time, I'm saying
That's
she's
one
being a
thing.
little, that's overly sensitive. But the fact that she asked and the person is still doing it and says, I can do what I want with my mouth. Well,
Yeah.
That's what definitely, sends them to the proctology department in my mind.
Right.
So definitely an a-hole. Or excuse me, the person that was getting you know what I mean.
The slim person, not the a-hole.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Howard, the slender person, not the a-hole. The other person instigated the reaction. A natural reaction when attacked is to defend. Becky, A, I'd love to be called slim. B, I'm chunky. C, it would hurt my feelings if she actually called me chunky. D, but hey, it's true. I don't know about this one.
Well, in the fact, here's the thing. I'm reading tea leaves here, okay? I'm reading between the lines. I don't think the slender person got any joy from calling them chunky. I think it's like a dog that growls to get you to go away. I think she was growling.
No, I think it was more she was in a corner. And
I think so.
She lunged out.
Yes.
And see, Becky, yes, you say all these things, but you would not be the person to you would stop when asked to stop. So that's slim, chunky. I don't think that's the question here. It's someone
Knock it
saying
off,
something
please.
you don't like. You ask them to stop. They did not. That's the whole. It could be anything.
Here's an example. If your name was Elvis and somebody called you Smelvis all the time,
or pelvis,
or pelvis. Sorry, I should. Chloris. But if you're being deliberately, it's like, hey, please don't. I've heard that way too much. Stop.
Yeah. Like if a person had red hair and you call them red all the time, they don't want to be called red. Stop. Don't want no. And you don't stop. You get
You're being an a-hole.
You get the consequences from all that.
You mess around and find out.
Right. FAFO, as they say.
As you can see from the graph, the proportion of the messing around runs parallel to the finding out.
That is awesome.
I love that.
Treva, there is no difference, slim or chunky. If you're asked to stop and you don't, you are the a-hole. Correct. Now, Miss Wilson with a different take. Both are out of line. She needed to be calm and open, telling her at least to get from the get-go that body shaming, no matter what the person's shape, hurts feelings. So stop.
But I think she did, didn't she?
I think according to her post, she did that. It's like asked her to stop many times. I believe it was calm and open and okay, I don't like that. Please stop.
And like I said, I think that's where I said it. If the slender person, if they went nuclear from the get go, that's being a little bit of an a-hole.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened. Like there was
Yeah.
multiple infractions, and the person wanted it stopped.
Well, I mean, she not only asked the person to stop multiple times, she went to management, who's did nothing about it. Now she's at her last recourse in her mind. So, all right. So, what does Reddit say about all this? Reddit has a fat shaming problem, and it shows up a lot in this subreddit. I was ready to vote YTA, you're the asshole, from this headline, but then I read the story. She doesn't call me by name. She calls me Slim. I even heard her say one time, go ask Toothpick. And she has said stuff like, you need some meat on your bones and you need to eat. I've only worked there 8 days. I've asked her very nicely to stop. So the next time her coworker said, hey, Slim, she replied, hey, Chunky. The coworker cried. Commenters widely agree that the Redditor isn't the Anuse here, though a few wise ones suggested getting out of the body shaming game and going with good morning, verbally abusive stranger, or simply saying, hey, Slim, right back.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw this out there. If she would have called that person Slim, they would have got mad too.
Yes. Yes.
Because anybody that pulls it's my mouth and I do what I want is gonna get mad no matter what you do.
Absolutely.
Because they're keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
Sorry.
Did we strike a nerve here?
Well, we did. That just bothers me. It always has.
All right. So that is the best of AITA.
Those are good ones.
Those were good ones.
You know what cracks me up? Kind of like all of our Earbud Nation, we were in lockstep. We were in simpatico.
We were
all anonymous.
Yeah. Great minds. Great
Yes.
minds. All right. So that rounds out episode 113. Once again, look at our website, order a t-shirt, join the Enlows, and by professing to the public the fact that you are an earbud.
And if we have 10 people order t-shirts this week, I will take down the paywall for my OnlyFans where I'm wearing a t-shirt in my red booty socks, my red footy socks, and sitting on a bearskin rug, drinking hot chocolate, celebrating the upcoming winter.
So is that supposed to make people want to buy t-shirts?
No, I'm only going to get disturbed. It's like, oh my gosh, you totally need to do that. I get to hear it coming. Not for the reasons that I want either.
Yeah, probably not. All right. So you can find our audio version of our podcast Friday morning, 3 a.m. on anchor.fm, Spotify, which has audio and video now. So you can watch a video podcast there. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and the iHeartRadio app, and most anywhere else you can find an audio podcast. Video-wise, we are on YouTube on our Play It By Ear podcast channel. On, as I said, Spotify has video now. Facebook will archive the lives, so you can see it there. And Twitch. Follow our channel there. But again, they only get archived about 2 weeks on Twitch. So social media, we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagrams. All those links are on our website. You can interact with us via email, admin@playitbyearpodcast.com, or you can leave a voice message. We can include that right here into the podcast. Click the link at your podcast provider. on the iHeartRadio app. It is a talkback. It looks like a microphone. If you click on that, you can leave a voice message. And again, you can find all that on Friday morning. Anything else for the good of the order, Mr. Liming?
I think I've exhausted my yappery tonight. It is time to take this home.
Yes. All right. Thanks for joining us all. Love the conversation. Love what you bring to the table. We will be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Queen wave.
Should I do Granny from Beverly Hillbillies?
There you go. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play